And next we have Cryo, a fantasy LitRPG, Lords of Valeria, book number 1, written by Tim Johnson. 319 pages, $4.99, available on Kindle Unlimited. Here's the author's description. Bailed from cryo jail under mysterious circumstances, Christian Lawson is drawn into the game world of Valeria, only to be enslaved by the world's power-mad tyrant. Forced to fight and to level to serve the tyrant's will, Christian fights back to gain his freedom. He finds hope in another player from Earth, the poison-wielding ranger Alexia, a powerful but eccentric witch, and the new abilities awaken inside him. Long held bound in darkness and cold, he learns to unleash the powers of ice against his enemies. Together they must escape the clutches of their captors and find Christian's lost uncle, the leader of a desperate rebellion to save not only Valeria, but Earth itself. So there you go. And all that is very accurate as far as the plotting goes. This is a transported to a game world, a story where the main character gets a class that specializes in heavy armor and ice magic, a Cryo Knight. He's to escape the bad people trying to use travelers, people who from other worlds that respawn after death, like himself, to gain power and territory. And that's essentially what the core of the story is. After the 20% mark, there are a lot more game mechanics that are used to describe the power progression of the main character and of the travelers. Though I'll note that there are sometimes a very distinct lack of details for semblance, and it's kind of purposeful. You can tell in the story, like the author may have had them there originally and took them out, or they weren't part of it at all originally. Like actual numbers showing the amount of XP gained from killing monsters or completing quests. Additionally, the main character's class wasn't something he got to choose, but is something that kind of awakened in him. And those two elements in particular kind of made the story feel a little, I don't want to say forced, but planned out. Like the progression in the story wasn't mechanic driven, the same way it is in kind of a video game, rather story driven. Like the points of progression aligned with where the main character needed to be to overcome a particular problem or challenge, instead of it being like he worked really hard and whatever challenges he faced at his particular level or power set have to be overcome without logically and complexly, and it just kind of felt like his power progression was already kind of determined in advance before some of the mechanics were necessarily in place. Those predominant. That's it. Beyond those particular points, there's lots of notifications, lots of levels, lots of powers, lots of gamer mentalities in the story. So this is definitely a game at LitRPG. It's just those two particular points in particular were things that stuck in my mind. Like, oh, this is kind of a choice. And that's perfectly fine. I respect that choice. But for me, it kind of took away from the elements of the story that of LitRPG, to say, that I really enjoy, like the crunchy detail of the ability to kind of see into the game mechanics of the story and kind of make my own character. And that doesn't necessarily exist in the same way it does in other stories. In the particular story world, again, when the characters come into this world, they are kind of just saddled with the class. It's not really of a choosing. It's kind of an awakening, which was more in line of like a fantasy story where a main hero character is awakened. His powers are awakened, instead of him making a distinctive choice like a gamer, like, oh, making a contract that I want to be a ranger or a warrior, whatever the case is. And that's just a storytelling choice. Other aspects of the story are really entertaining. The story is good on the whole. Again, good action, good adventure, good introducing to powers. Again, there's that deliberate decision to minimize some of these numerical details was something that took some my enjoyment away from the story. There we go. Get a score of 7.2 out of 10. Still a good score, just not like the best of the show. That's Cryo, a fantasy LitRPG story with a score of 7.2 out of 10.